Sorry,
Awesome.
Kevin. Sorry, Kevin.
You're all
Sorry.
right, man. You're all right.
Some people say they have seen the chupacabra. After some tequila, he was dancing the lambada. We don't know where he has come from, making other Mexicanos looking like a dum dum. They say that he's a monkey. I think the whole story's just a little funky.
There's a monkey-eyed creature that we call the chupacabra, 4 feet tall like a mutant in Chihuahua, in Mexico City, Puerto Rico, Nicaragua. Hey, chupacabra, hay un criatura que se llama chupacabra, es muy feo como si dispara guava. Queremos pasar algunas palabras. Oh, chupacabra.
Sorry.
Chupacabra.
I can only. I think I've got it set up on a timer. That's why that happened. Sorry. I'm really
that's
sorry
good.
to cut you off. We were having a conversation and I cut Kevin off there. I can only apologise
Oh,
to you.
you don't have to worry about it, man. It wasn't Bigfoot related, so it's no big deal.
You want to hear something interesting though? I went into this this DNA thing that what's the name of that company that does all the ancestral stuff?
Ancestry?
I wasn't going to mention him by name because we're not.
Okay. All right. Well, you said,
But the company that actually does ancestry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So my latest thing that came back, I found out I was 32%, at least so far, Scott.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I can see that. You're a doer, grumpy old man, so therefore I can totally get it.
There you go.
And,
Right
and
there.
you like to drink, so
Boom. Boom, right there.
But
I prefer Irish whiskey though over the peat crap.
Oh yeah, well it's double distilled versus triple distilled. Everything from Ireland's better.
Absolutely. So welcome everyone, if you can hear the sound of my voice. Perhaps you're one of the 70 people listening on my channel. Perhaps you're one of the 1,000 people that listen on Phil's channel. If I sound bitter about that, it's because I am. But welcome to this week's edition to the Squatchable podcast, where we take a look at some YouTube videos from Bigfoot World and discuss them. Joining me, as always, from parts unknown in Washington, Phil Pulling.
Hi there.
And joining us also from the great state of Washington, Kevin.
Heidi ho, campers.
And joining joining us fresh from a game of strip poker with the Rougarou from the swamps of Louisiana, Colonel Chubbs.
Greetings to everyone.
And if you like Chubbs, Kevin, or Phil Pullen, you may enjoy the badly drawn misadventures of two Bigfoot heading over to Bigfoot and Keith and Colin on Facebook, where this week we will be exploring the life of the fish Jesus. Coming up this week on Bigfooting with Keith and Colin. Without further ado, I am your host, Richard Allen. Let's get on with it. My first story is one I didn't send to any of the other twos, but it is the other guys on the show, but it is sad news that Scott Marlowe has passed this week. He was a researcher from Florida. He didn't really like me that much. A lot of the old guard don't like me. I use the C word too much. But he was a good lad, and he put a critical eye against anything.
Yeah. Well, it was very sad news, and but I think as a fellow Brit, I'm going to say this. I'm an Irish Brit,
Yeah.
which gets me into trouble. But what I'm going to say is the C word is kind of a not the same thing whenever you're talking about that. And it's not something it's meant.
We got what you meant.
It's not offensive in some ways,
Right.
as much as it is here. So I get where he's coming from, Richard. Whenever you use it, but and people like Adam gets it, but it does whenever you see it, it does make my skin crawl being from an American standpoint for such a long time. It does get on your, it just makes you want to cringe a wee bit, because that's like,
yeah, you have a woman in the United States who hears that word,
it's
and
over.
they send out the Army, the Air Force.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, that is the sad news that good one, Frank. You interrupted me mid-sentence there, so you get a mention. Well done, Frank. That was a good one. He is a fellow Irishman as well. So,
okay.
So moving on to our first story. Phil asked me if any of our videos were breakdownable this week. This is the first of two. This is my favorite video that I think I've ever seen doing this show. I love this video so much. It's 21 seconds. It looked like a Bigfoot was slamming a dead squirrel into the trail camera. I guess that's squirrel. It's actually spelled squirrel, which is the most southern thing I've ever heard. I wish Nikki was here because she'd be able to.
No. In the South, it's squirrel.
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
I am in the South, you know.
Yeah, we do have a Southerner.
Oh, crap. Yeah, it's Louisiana. How do you pronounce this, Chubbs?
We say squirrel.
That's it. Squirrel.
But this is spelled squirrel.
Yeah, and he was excited, so he had to put was in there.
Yeah, was. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Damn.
Yeah.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'll give you my favorite video ever from this show. I'm just going to rewind it to the beginning. And here you go.
Wait for the squirrel. Wait for the squirrel. Wait for it. There it is. Okay.
Oh my, it gets me every time. It gets me. I love this video so much. I'm going to give it a like right now.
Yeah.
I mean, subscribe.
It was so Monty Python-esque.
It was so obviously staged, so awful, but so bad it was good.
Yeah.
I adore this video.
I like it better. Speaking of Monty Python, I like it better than the fish slapping scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe for this one, we could actually come up for alternate titles for this video. Instead of that one, like Squirrel Commits Suicide.
It is an ex-squirrel. It is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, if it's my turn, I'm going to say that I like it too. And I looked at this guy's videos. He does go out in the field. He does try to find footprints. It seems like a serious kind of a guy. He discusses the subject from inside of his room. He's all over the map. And there was only 2 videos that I could see where it had this kind of action on the trail cam. It might be authentic. Just because you see a piece of fur doesn't mean it couldn't be a Bigfoot, right, people?
Well, isn't the fur of the squirrel though? I mean, it seems to me like somebody was actually beating a squeak.
No, okay, yeah. The way I looked at it is that was maybe the Bigfoot slightly moving in front of the camera,
right,
and tapping the camera with his hand, and then just throwing the squirrel later on. I'm not saying that it's all about the squirrel,
right. Well, I would tend to agree with you in the fact that we don't know what caused it. Obviously, you know, I would look at it maybe like the fact that you know, somebody knows where his camera is and it was messing with him, and he doesn't know that, you know, but at the same time, I'm really super glad he shared it.
It is a good video as far as I think the Bigfoot community will get a big gas out of this one.
This is awesome. Chubbs, do you have anything positive to say about this video?
I agree. I had thought before it's definitely one that's breakdownable, but unfortunately, there's not much you can take from this. And as always, I wish there was some like he went back and showed where the camera is in respect to the land and anything we could have taken from it. But, you know, otherwise, I don't think there's much we can like we can see a little bit, but R.I.P. to the poor squirrel.
R.I.P. indeed. Well, I'll tell you what, it's only 21 seconds long. So let's take another look at it to see if we can gauge anything else from it, shall we? So there we go.
I'll make the sound effects.
Whee!
Ah!
Oh my god, it's so great.
Ah!
Phil, just do that for your breakdown. Just
Yeah.
do that.
Well, Phil, if you actually do slow that down and take a look at it, can you see whether that thing's actually stuffed or whether that's just
Yeah, I
Yes.
want to know that as well.
Yeah,
That was the whole idea behind it, is to try to capture the squirrel being flung through the air, and seeing if it's actually real or not.
Is
Yeah.
this an actual squirrel or a trained dummy stunt squirrel?
But I don't think I'll be able to tell, to be honest.
All right. I could spend all night on this video. I just love this one. But well, congratulations, Jerry Klein. This is a fanfare well earned, my friend.
Woohoo!
Oh, a lot of the videos will get that tonight. So we've got a lot of good ones. Yeah, have a commercial while we set up for the next one.
Howdy! Hi, I'm Spike, and you know, when I'm driving down Route 9W on a hot summer day, me and the missus always stop at Dickens Fruit Stand. They've got everything from fruit to vegetables, homemade pies, but there is nothing like their cider. Ain't that right, honey? Uh-huh. Dickens cider. Yes, sirree. Why, even though we were late for church last Sunday, she had to have a little Dickens cider. Uh-huh. She says there ain't nothing like it. Even my minister says his wife enjoys a little Dickens cider now and then. Hey, why don't you bring some home in our protective plastic rib bottle? That way it'll stay fresh. Or you can let it sit a while and have some hard Dickens cider. It's good at lunch, good at dinner, and there's nothing like waking up with a Dickens cider. Dickens Fruit Stand, just off Route 9W and Country Road 69. Open 24 hours, because after a chilly summer night, I like to snuggle up in bed with a hot Dickens cider.
And who doesn't?
Who doesn't indeed? Okay, for our next video, we have this. It says it's a Bigfoot hiking horror short film. It's very short, at 5 minutes long. There is a very funny moment where he's running through the woods and he comes across a single cabin and he's like, really?
Yeah, I know. That was great.
That was great.
I ain't going there. No way.
No way, not for me. And this is just, it's good, wholesome fun. It's not really a Bigfoot video, but I have watched it like 10 times. That bit where the pebble hits the water actually scared me because I wasn't paying full attention and the music shifted really suddenly. Jump scare there a bit. But basically, dude's walking through the woods. We hear some piped in screams. He thinks he's been chased by Bigfoot. He runs away. I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, he's not saying it's serious. He put comedy right there. And Bigfoot hiking horror short film. I enjoyed it. Give him a like. Kevin, what did you think?
I liked it too. I really did, because of the fact that there was obviously he's putting it out there. He's trying to use different film views there. I don't know if he's doing it by himself or what, but he tries to incorporate the cell phone video in there with some other shots. On the whole, I thought it would be an interesting film to watch, even if he just finished it up on his own, because it's good crack. The guy's I got to see what his forest looks like and everything like that. So good, fair play to him. He should continue on, in my opinion.
Yeah, this should just be a little trailer and then he should do the full thing. Guy's got talent. Chubbs, what did you think?
Oh, I've really enjoyed it. I've seen so many really bad Bigfoot movies that this did a good take of turning it on its head. He mentions that Bigfoot's been seen in the area he's been in. The cabin thing really is great to twist the horror trope on its head. And yeah, this little clip is better than a good 75% of the Bigfoot movies I've seen. So I loved it, and I hope it does continue. I'd love to see more.
Thumbs up. Phil, what did you think?
It scared the sweet baby Jesus out of me.
Really?
It really did. There were several parts in there where, first of all, he's talking and it brings up the tension a little bit. Then he hears something and he takes off running. It sounds pretty close. The beginning just scared the hell out of me, to be honest. That spot where the pebble hits the water and that. But
Yeah, it got me as
there
well.
there were parts in the video where, hey, you don't know at which point this guy's going to be grabbed by a hairy arm and drugged. This thing was well done, freaking done. He needs to do a full length feature film on video with a bigger cast.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he could carry it by himself.
I don't know. He's pretty good.
If it was like 30, 40 minutes long of him just doing this, that would be a decent watch.
He needs to take this to a film festival.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Sundance or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't bother to try and put like a goofy suit in there,
Yeah.
And that would have ruined it if they had a bad suit in this thing.
Yeah.
So
That's why I
Good
liked
for
it
them.
so much. It was all
Exactly.
mental except for the sound cues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
theater of the mind is way better. I mean, that's the way.
Yeah.
You don't even always need to see something. Like the end of District 9 is really good, where they don't actually say that alien is the dude, but they sort of imply it. You don't always need to see this stuff to know it's there. And I think he really did a really good job. And I really like this, and he can have a fanfare. Getting that overused this week. But anyway, have another commercial while we switch to our next video.
Hey, you, my friend, you unpopular? When you see somebody you know on the street, does he cross over to the other side? Are you unpopular with the ladies? Well, get yourself a bottle of Dr. Kitchener's 89 antiseptics. Then you rinse your mouth with 3 pots of water every day. Man, it's make your mouth feel so clean and cool, you will not be afraid to kiss nobody. No, sir. With that Kitchener's, you will always feel safe and sound like a bulldozer in a canary's cage.
You can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Indeed, you can. Rexall Drug Company are a stalwart cornerstone of the American economy.
Can I say something before you start this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't me, by the way. If anybody ends up watching,
You just ruined my intro.
no,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That was literally going to be my intro. That this
Oh,
was
I'm
another
sorry.
Irish dude named Kevin.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't ruin my comment though.
What was that?
Well, because it's like it might be a case of well, just go ahead and run the video. I'll give you my comment later.
All right, so this is we're going to get a little bit meta again this week. This is a review of an episode of Mountain Monsters where they go looking for Sasquatch. I watch this type of video a lot. I like the react videos on YouTube. I've got it queued up. It's appeared. It was about Bigfoot, so I thought, okay, we'll cover it. But basically, this is this dude, Kevin, review of an episode, Mountain Monsters, and he's not really impressed. We'll start the old video. And he'll screenshot from a video game which is called Bigfoot, The Hunt for Bigfoot. That's the game.
He was impressed.
He was impressed. Yes, he was swayed by the amount of information that was given to him.
Yeah, he was overwhelmed by the amount of information that was in it. I mean, the thing that I like, I mean, like, although I said this wasn't me, I could literally see me saying everything that this guy says in it, because I mean, Mountain Monsters, it was a program. It was entertaining.
It was a program. It was entertaining. Could more damning words be said about it?
Well, since he interjected interjected at this point, let me just say that this does support my confirmation bias. I do have a confirmation bias. I believe that every guy who's Irish is named Kevin, and this supports that theory.
Well, yeah, maybe. It was funny because yeah, I did grow up in a village with 3 Kevins. I think that was.
There you go, right there. There were
Pretty
3
sure
guys
that's
in his village.
pretty
Every one of them
hard.
named Kevin.
Yeah. All the dudes in his village was just named Kevin, and they all knew who they talked about when they said "Hi, Kevin" or "Hi,
Right.
Kevin."
Yeah. Well, yeah. I was the Yank Kevin because my dad was American. But you know, that was all right. But the thing that I'll say about this was it is an episode of Might and Monsters where it's a very if you since you can't hear it, it's the Cherokee little girl episode that was very sort of woo and Buck and Huckleberry get
Possessed.
taken over by spirits of the woods and all. And yeah, which the program had a very distinct line. I don't know how you couldn't say it wasn't scripted, but some of the observations that he makes about it were pretty funny.
Yeah, it was clearly scripted. Let's just dissuade any rumors to the contrary.
Right.
Finding Bigfoot was kind of reality, but this
Yeah.
was just a scripted show for idiots who
Well-
were, paid to be idiots wandering around the woods.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing that I mean, and he does make the opinion of one time that he says, "This is how I think about Americans watching this program," and I think which is good for an Irish person because a lot of people in Appalachia are the same genetics as people in Ireland. They're just spread apart by 300 years. I mean, like I could go out in the middle of nowhere in Ireland and find 3 guys that look just like that, and but but the thing that's funny about it is there was one part that really scared me because all these guys have shotguns and everything like that. And there's a part where Buck is like throwing up, using his shotgun barrel as a walking stick, and he's literally got his head over the barrel while he's puking. And I just find that to be so horrific that I couldn't watch it anymore because I was like, oh my God, hopefully these guns aren't loaded because that's scary as hell,
Yeah, I mean, they do not practice good gun safety at all in videos like this, and it's that as much as anything that pisses people like Kevin off.
I don't think Kevin was pissed off.
No, I'm just saying if I were you and I was running through the woods and I was going to throw up, don't point the shotgun at your head while you're trying to throw up.
That's good safety. Good safety precautions.
That's all I would say. I mean, and so that's basically it. I carry a pistol out in the woods. I carry guns out in the woods because these are dangerous woods up here sometimes, and so I'm not against guns, but at the same time, there are people out in the woods who don't show any sort of care or whatever. So
Video Kevin was having a great time reviewing this.
Oh, he loved it. There he is.
Oh gosh. Oh boy. We don't need to see this.
No.
I think he like spits out a pistachio or something right at the end, and they say, "Oh, there it is. Oh, there." Yep. But yeah, and then we get on to the naked hillbillies.
Yeah,
and then the trap, of course.
Yeah, I mean, all review shows, they're the Marmite of YouTube. You either love them or hate them. I like review shows. I enjoyed this one considerably. Chubbs, what did you think?
Well, I think that this guy did a really good job of showing how people not involved in the community look at these shows, and I understand completely that these shows are for entertainment mostly. I mean, I wouldn't call like, I guess, like Expedition Bigfoot, $10 million Bigfoot. They get a little into like what researchers look for, but some of these shows almost kind of give a step back to the Bigfoot community where that's where we're laughed at. And so, yeah, I understand entertainment, but this guy did a really good job of showing like what somebody outside the community would think. So it was fun to watch.
I tend to agree with you, Chubbs, in the fact that you know what cracked me up was whenever Trapper died, you know, and everybody was putting on R.I.P. Trapper, best Bigfoot, you know, Bigfoot expert ever, and so. And I wasn't not upset that the guy died. Don't get me wrong, but and I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but I would also say that I don't think he did anything to push along Bigfoot as a serious subject either. So, I mean, you can't have a program where you literally have a Bigfoot in it every week. I mean, and I know that that's the gold standard and everybody wants to see that, but I mean, Mountain Monsters was specific. I mean, the amount of interaction that they had with Bigfoot, if they were real. I mean, you know, every other episode, that Bigfoot's jumping in the back of their side by side or sweeping at them through the woods, or you know, it's just implausible. I mean, to have that kind of interaction, but
I think these guys are all actors, and it's a planned show. And the more ridiculous the acting, the more over the top it is, the more entertaining it is. And I think, you know, you take an actor, you grow a beard on him, you put a weird outfit on him, you show him naked in the woods with a bunch of mud spread around. You know, that's what this is. It's complete. Yeah. It's complete and total planned entertainment.
Yeah. But at the same time, I've watched more episodes of Mountain Monsters than I have Expedition Bigfoot.
Well, there's a reason for that.
I will say that, you know, and it's sad. But that's the way that goes.
This show, by the way, is like you said, a very bad example of gun safety in the woods. I just like to point that out. Like, you should never run in the middle of the night with your gun, or use it as a walking stick, or any of that. So
this is a bad example of people in the woods.
True. And yeah, but like their whole point is like, we're armed and yay. I remember watching this show and it's like, okay, but normal people don't hunting or not run through the woods like that with their guns. But so yeah, practice regular safety, everybody.
Yeah.
That is quite clearly not a real gun. That's just, I mean, it doesn't look real.
No, I don't think they are. And if they are, I don't think they're loaded.
No. I mean, that's just a prop right there.
Well, you do hear one of them rack around or something, but I'm sure there's nothing there.
There was maybe one show I think they shot their guns into nothing, obviously, but yeah, otherwise, no, they just run around with them. Because the guy trips in this one and drops it, and I'm like, oh, there you go, that's safe. But, you know, they never addressed that.
Yeah, this is
funny review.
Yeah. Watch it for the review, but just ignore Mountain Monsters.
Definite hilarity ensues.
Yeah, they all have a good laugh,
and even though it is a bit of an Irish humor thing.
Well,
getting a bit racist there.
Yeah, well, what I will say is, you know, like this, Irish people have a tendency to not deify anybody. You know what I mean? Mm. What we tend to do is to try to take everybody down to our level. So, you know, we
deliberately so.
Yeah. I mean, we're slagging. We call it slagging people off. You know what I mean? So we just try to slag. You know, if you think you're a little bit better than me, I'm going to slag you down. You know that. I mean, we try to treetop people. We don't let them grow up. You know, we just go over the top and just chainsaw them all off at the same height.
Well, it seems like the young lads from Liverpool are a bit like that as well. When they played for the Queen, and we're talking about people in the upper balcony, just go ahead and rattle your jewelry.
Yeah.
They weren't going to let it bother them.
Well, it's a working class thing. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
Don't get much more working class than a scouser. Moving on to our next commercial.
New from Mostly Healthy Foods, Orange Flare Orange Juice. Every glass has a ray of sunshine.
Wow! It has a ray of sunshine in every glass? Father, can I have some?
Sure, son.
My God, my face is melting.
Every glass has a ray of sunshine. And yes, it's also a tasty beverage and a high-energy plasma. Sweet Mother of God, close the damn carton. Oh, how am I still alive?
Okay, that one got me. That was a good one.
Hey, what happened to the new ones that I sent you?
I haven't got round to them yet. What?
Oh, I see. You haven't
all-
got round to it. All
They're all in the list, Phil.
right. Oh, you've actually put together a list. That's
I've
great.
got a list of commercials. It's a long list, and this is a well, it's not difficult to use soundboard, but it confuses me. Okay, so moving on to the next breakdownable video that Phil asked for this week. We have this pile of wank. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the old boo sound effect. Because this is pretty crap. So let's go with this one. We're in Canada. This dude's got a camera. He's looking at the ground. Nothing's happening. Clear evidence of the Loch Ness Monster there. He's just ignoring that. We're moving forwards. Going through the woods. He's on a potato. And there it is. There it is. Oh my God, it's Bigfoot. Wow, look at it. It's right there. Oh my God. Oh my God. Now he's just spinning the camera around because, like, if you've got Bigfoot in the shot, the one thing you're going to do is move the camera away from it. And there we go. That's it. That's the video. What up?
I was
Anyway.
wondering how many videos they actually use the $6 million man Bigfoot action figure in.
Yep.
You think that's what that was?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I thought maybe it was just a piece of stump or something like that.
It could be. It could be.
I mean,
It's not pareidolia. I mean, it actually looks like a proper. It's clearly someone in a suit, or what Phil said, like an action figure or something.
right.
It looks way too small to be a person.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's not. It's definitely not in scale. But then at the same time, I agree with what Richard says. I mean, are you trying to say I don't see that until after I filmed it? Because again, it would seem like if you had zoomed in on that and then started booking the other way, where you couldn't, it's like, oh crap, that's what it is. Or if you try to, film in it or zoom in on it or something like that, then that would be more, realistic. But people don't tend to act the way that I think most people would act. Now, and that being said, there's a lot of people who, report Bigfoot sightings who say, yeah, I didn't want to take a picture of it because like I didn't want to raise my camera. I just wanted to take it in as long as I could see it. And to me, that's believable. Or if it scans across and you see something and then you want to run away, then that's believable. But it's just the weird sort of in the forest. Now, who does that? You know what I mean? Like you don't go out into the woods and then start wildly swinging a camera around. I don't know anybody that does that. So
I'm sorry, Yank Kevin, but this video in question doesn't even mention what is captured on video.
Oh,
the video is basically pans around after the fact. Yeah, they do concentrate on that, but it's basically a story about them going out and camping and hearing things in the bushes and so
Right.
forth. They don't really say anything about what was captured on the video. So
Yeah, no,
I think
I agree with you in that, Phil. You're right in the fact that the story and the film don't seem to go together. But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt you. By the way,
no. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
no.
It brings to mind for me an early timber giant Bigfoot hoax, not the thing behind the bush, the one he did after that, the thing in front of the tree, where he was just walking through the woods, and this thing stands up in front of the tree, and it's it's clearly there. You'd have to be blind not to see it, and he just pans off and pretends he doesn't see it and carries on working. That's what this reminds me of.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's when he still had his son working with him on the deal.
Yeah, I mean that is of course the major issue with timber giant Bigfoot is he ran out of people to wear the suit, but in this case this is an action figure. You reckon? I mean it's not pareidolia.
No, yeah, there's definitely something there. I mean, I didn't really want to take that much time and look at it. But.
Yeah, I'm not going to attempt to take measurements, measure a tree, go by height, all that crap on something that is just obviously a prop that's stuck up there.
If you did a full Bigfoot Tony-esque breakdown on this video with the arrows and everything.
Well, no, I was thinking stinker stunker.
Oh yeah,
where he takes an average of the size of a tree, and then he applies it to a separate video, and then he turns the tree sideways, and then stacks all the inches up to see how tall the Bigfoot was.
That's groovy. Yeah, that dude is a wank pheasant. But yeah, this video, didn't care for it. Chubbs, what did you think?
Well, I noticed obviously everything you guys said. Like the story didn't have anything really to do with the picture, and he seemed to zoom in on it, notice it, but then didn't do anything else with that. But other than that, I'd like to point out that after like Survivor Man joined up with Todd Stanning, they went to Nordig. There's a lot of people who say Nordig has been inundated with researchers and people like that. So, this kind of fits with like a lot of people are going there now. So I hate to be negative about it, but it's not an isolated place anymore.
We finally done it. We finally dragged Chubbs down to our
damn.
Hey, I like those places that like. Even if it was Todd Stanning, he went to really out there places, but I hear a lot of people go there now. So,
can you enlighten our listening audience, or viewing audience, I should say? The 12 people that what Nordig is, or where Nordig is at.
Nordig is in Canada, highlighted in. Like I said, Todd Stanning went there and brought Survivor Man and Jeff Meldrum there. And supposedly that's where Jeff Meldrum had a quote unquote experience. I'll say that. And they find giant structures. And I don't know exactly where in Canada offhand, but I know they did. Nordig and Radium Springs was like the big two names that came up in those shows.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's not in the Appalachian because no one fell down.
No, it's on the western slope. It's on the western slope of the Rockies, and so it's high up. I mean, it's in a good spot. But again, the fact that it's high up means that again that the trees get smaller as you get higher, especially in that situation. So when you start to look at that from that standpoint, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. On my trip to Banff, I noticed that quite a bit.
Yeah. But I do have friends that say that they've been up in the Alberta mountains and that they saw Bigfoot. You know, so it's you know, people that don't really like to talk about it, but at the same time, it's you know, I don't know what it was or what it could be or whatever, but I mean, it's I would imagine that if you were going to go look for Bigfoot, that would be a really good place to look for it. But
Is this the video where he referred to the trees as both aspen and popular? Or was
No.
that the other one?
I think that's the other one where he's talking about, because he well, it might be this one, because I noticed that too, but then at the same time, the other guy does say vehicle in a very, very strange way in a later on video that we're going to look at.
Yeah, I think that might be the one where he actually sees popular trees.
Yeah.
As compared to the unpopular trees.
Well, you know, no one wants to really hang out with them slutty beach trees. Alrighty. Alrighty, I think we've wasted enough time on this video. Let's have one last commercial and then we'll move on to our final video of the night.
And now, Mr. Robert Goulet reads from The Writings of Bart, the collected after-school blackboard writings of young Bart Simpson. Mr. Goulet.
I will not trade pants with others. I will not do that thing with my tongue. I will not Xerox my butt. A burp is not an answer. I will not pledge allegiance to Bart. I will not eat things for money. I will not bring sheep to class. I will not instigate revolution. My name is not Dr. Death.
To experience all of Bart's blackboard writings, watch every classic episode of The Simpsons.
I will not call the principal Spudhead.
Now, Chubbs, be honest. How many of those have you done?
Maybe 2.
I expected more from you.
Oh.
Jeez.
Alrighty then. Moving on to our final video of the night. A bit of a woo fest. We've got this dude in his car talking about, you know, Bigfoot, but like he doesn't call them Bigfoot. He refers to them as various other names, and as Kevin and Phil have already pointed out, he has a problem with pronunciation. Obviously needs to take better grammar lessons. Phil, what did you think of this video?
I think it's time during this show for those of you out there who are watching to either light up or pour yourself a stiff one and sit back, you know, just kind of zone out to this half-hour trip down memory lane for this gentleman and watch the cliffhangers as they tumble about.
Nice. Consistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's a good way of putting it. Chubbs, what did you think?
Definitely. If you like scenery, that's good. You got to get to the end to get to the Bigfoot stuff, and I find it interesting when people like this tell you they're a class above you, and he says like, you know, if you're gonna be in first grade, the fourth graders know more, and he gives his little class speech about, you know, if you want to learn from him, then, you know, you can, but don't come in thinking you know more than him. I find that interesting. I went and looked at some of his videos on his channel, and like he does do Bigfoot stuff, but he seems to, yes, like you said, be on the woo side. So he didn't actually give too much info to like prove on his side though. So
no, but still, it really does. I hate to interject.
That's all right.
It still brings to mind how someone, perhaps a young individual, can find this rather fascinating. In fact, I think Kevin could use this in one of his science classes.
Well, is it my turn?
Yes.
I don't want.
That was the segue.
Okay. I just want to say one thing to this guy here. I really want to be on your side. You know what I mean? If anybody has ever been on this program that's gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, it's gonna be me. And I get so and I was so disappointed in the fact that I couldn't figure out what he was even talking about. Like what Chubb said, I didn't know it was a Bigfoot video until later on. I didn't know
Whoa,
what to
whoa, Kevin! I'm just going to stop you there.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to give anyone the benefit of the doubt, it's Chubbs. Chubbs is a shining ray of positivity. And Ian Phil's black cold.
Yeah, well, but he is. But what I'm saying is if somebody's going to come out and say, you know, it's talking to me in my head, or I'm being controlled to do something, I'm your man. You know what I mean? But what I will say is this:
or if I come to your house and see a pterodactyl fly over.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm all in. Okay, you know, and I will say to you, let's try to figure out what it is, you know. And I think I've come up with a solution to that one. I think it was a big giant heron. But anyway, let me go ahead and say this. He is very, very condescending whenever he does talk about grade 1 and grade 2, you know, and all that stuff. And I don't think that helps, especially if you're not entirely up to speed with grammar and English. You know, it's probably not the way to go. And when he's talking about cliffhangers, I thought he was talking about literally, you know, like falling rocks coming down. And he was like, dude, I thought he worked for like the road department or something like that. And he was, he was pointing out like where dangerous parts of the roads were, you know, to say, you know, this is where the overhang is, and you know, that'll roll down onto the cars and stuff. And then he does talk about things later as far as it being supernatural. Now, as far as supernatural beings, I mean, there's lots of people that believe in that. You know what I mean? You know, Iceland and Ireland and all these different places, they believe in elemental spirits and all that stuff. But at the same time, if you're going to make the argument that Sasquatch is supernatural, address that bit. I mean, it's not whether the supernatural exists or not, because I haven't met anybody who really, honestly, if you put them on the spot, says it can't exist. But at the same time, you're going to have to make a much better argument about why you feel that it does exist. And that's the thing that I find is very weird. Don't just say it exists and I'm smarter than you. And, you know, that gets everybody's backs up, you know?
Yeah, because I say so is never going to be a good argument as to why something is the way it is. You can't just say, because I say so. Okay, science exists now. Back when we were cavemen, hovered around fires and scared of noises in the dark, because I said so might have worked back then. But nowadays, not so much.
Sure, around the campfire, it might have passed.
Yeah.
Especially by the chief of whatever tribe. But, you know, this guy could have at least, you know, delved into differences between what he considers supernatural and paranormal. What is beyond the normal and what is beyond the natural.
Right. I agree with you.
But he didn't. I mean, he's talking about, hey, we're going to come up to this area sooner or later where we're going to see some rocky cliffs. And if you look real close, as I drive by, you might see some cliffhangers.
Yeah. I mean, we literally know more about his car than we do about what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
And the fact that his windshield is really dirty.
Yeah. It's cracked. There's a piece of concrete, cement on his dash.
I think he smokes. I think he smokes in his car.
Yeah, and
yeah, he points out that there's a rock in his car, and that's the reflection. Like, I thought he was a road worker too. Like, he goes, "Don't mind that reflection. That's just a rock in my car." Like, why do you have a rock in your car, man?
And he's got a force.
It's not a normal thing for this area, Chuck.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's got rock in their car.
True.
Don't you have a rock in your car? Come on, man.
Do I? I have a wife, so I have half a Granite Falls in the back of my car.
Yeah. Well, I have a ball and chain usually in my car.
Ooh, getting a bit.
Well, no, I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying my wife is very into geology, and if she finds a stone that she thinks is pretty, then we have to put it in our garden.
So if it's sedimentary, forget it. It's out. It's gone.
Yeah, it's got to be quartz or something like that.
Sure.
Well, that'll wrap up that video.
Thank God.
Yeah. So for our final and surprise story, it's that time of the month again when I can rag about Matt Johnson. Everyone has a calendar on their wall when I mark the X's between shows when I can go off on one. But it's that time of the month to feature Matthew Johnson. And this week we have Matt Johnson caught in a direct lie. And, it makes me happy to do this. So in this first post here, he makes a point of saying, I have lung issues. He needs to get out of Oregon. Of course, thoughts and prayers, positive thoughts, if you're not into God, to everyone in Oregon right now for all of that horrible fires and stuff they're going through. Seriously, I hope it all goes well for you guys. But Matt Johnson is talking about his lung issues and how he needs to get out. However, from this post from 3 weeks before, we can see that he said that the Xanu had fixed his lungs, or Xanu, or figments of his imagination, whatever you want to call them. So that's what's going on here. Here is a direct lie told by bloody stupid Johnson. And we can all laugh at, his own, because this is what happens when you make up crap on the fly. You trip over your own lies. Phil, anything to add?
I would say that your observations are pretty much in line with my own. And with that, I really think that's all I can say. There's not much I could really add to that, except the guy's a douche nozzle.
Fair dues. Chubbs, anything positive to say?
Well, maybe not positive, but he likes to say that what one knows, they all know, and etc. How did the Xanu not tell him where to go to a better place? Like,
well, I could tell him where to go.
More importantly, why are the Xanu not using their amazing abilities to stop the fires in the first place?
There you go. Like,
Kevin,
he's on the council.
Yeah, exactly. He's on the council. Why aren't they helping? Why aren't they fixing this whole? Kevin, as a former Johnsonite, what do you think?
Well, it speaks for itself. I mean, you put it up there. The timeline's definitely written that way. I mean, people need to look at that and take into consideration what you've said, because it does make a big difference as far as things that change. And so, hopefully, like I said, I don't hang around with Matt anymore. I don't have any contact with him really, but I do hope that that he and his wife are safe. And but
obviously,
but I will say, yeah, that it's obvious that you've caught it, and so people need to sometimes make a reconsideration of how they feel about somebody whenever this stuff comes out. You just can't gloss over it and say it never happened or whatever. So when people make statements like that and then it changes, you have to reassess how you felt about that. And if you're not willing to do that, then maybe you need to reconsider who you follow. You know what I'm saying? You can't just blindly follow somebody and just forgive every lie that when it's presented to you. So I mean, I probably said more than I wanted to there. But,
well, no, I think that's pretty precise.
Yeah,
and concise, I should say. But yeah. So another foobar, I think, on his part, is that why didn't Xanadu mention that it's Antifa that's setting all the fires?
Why didn't he?
Flooded. Let's. Because like all my liberal friends say it's Trump supporters starting the fire, and all my Republican friends say it's liberals setting the fires. So can we just?
Yeah, all I'm saying is please don't set fires, no matter
Yeah,
what you believe.
yeah. Let's just say
Yeah.
that it doesn't matter what you believe. Just don't
Yeah.
set fire
Yeah.
to a state that's already on fire. You
Yeah.
bloody lunatics.
Yeah, because really, honestly, I'll say this. I grew up in Northern Ireland. I probably have a little PTSD about it. The woods is the one place I go to relax, and you don't want me cooped up in my house whenever you're setting fire to something. And I find out about it.
Good point.
Yeah, you don't really want to piss off the Irish.
Not a good idea.
No, it's never a good
So
idea.
we'll take that. We'll continue that grudge for 300 years.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
All right. That's best case scenario. All right, so that'll wrap us up for this week. Phil, please tell me you're going to do a breakdown of the squirrel video.
Okay, I'm going to do a breakdown of the squirrel video. Is that satisfactory?
Please do a breakdown. It's like the best.
Oh, you actually want me to do a breakdown?
I really want you to do a breakdown. I love that video. It's my favorite video, and
I haven't even finished the Frogman video.
Oh yeah, that was supposed to go out yesterday. What's going on, man?
Well, it was a little more involved than I thought it would be.
Huh. All you've got to do to the squirrel video is add your own sound effects. So that's it. It'll be fun.
That's right. Yeah.
What a great video. Kevin, you up to anything this week?
Not really. Nope. I got everything. I got everything taken care of. I was supposed to take care of. Maybe.
Sweet. Chubbs, you got any cool reviews?
Actually, the reviews are on hold for a week because earlier today I put out an interview. I was interviewed by Carrie Arnold on the Bigfoot Odyssey channel, and he gave me time to put out my viewpoints on the community at large. So if anybody's interested, you can check that out.
Oh, yeah, that does remind me of something, Richard. I was interviewed by Adam Davis and Mike Richburg on their Bigfoot Beasts or whatever, their channel. I do go into a lot of woo in that one, but I try to back it up. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, go ahead and listen to it, and then you'll understand why people.
Well, there's 2 videos for next week's show already in the bag.
Well, there you go.
You guys are making my life so easy right now.
Well, I'm looking forward to Phil's. Here's the thing, Phil. Whenever you listen to this video, this interview I did with Adam, I want you to film it. Because I think that we should just have your reactions while you're listening to it, and I'd be interested.
That would be a channel I would subscribe to.
Yeah.
Phil reacts.
Yeah, Phil reacts.
Phil reacts to any. I would love that. That would be amazing. Yeah. So probably gonna do those 2 videos next week on the show. As I said before, we're doing Fish Jesus on the strip this week. If you watch if the comic strips are your thing, last week we did the party rave, and that last party rave, I'm sorry, I know I made it, but that made me laugh. All right, so go and subscribe to that or give it a like. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It is good night from me, and it's good night from my co-hosts. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Cheerio.